Up Squares, welcome to my first NFL related video for the 2026 and 27 NFL season. At the time of this recording, we are still quite away from the start of the regular season. I'm roughly about the end of June. So the first game will kick off on Wednesday night football. I don't know why the NFL decided they needed to do it on Wednesday night. I guess they got a rule every single day of the week now, not just Sundays anymore. Anyway, the rematch will be again with the Pats Seahawks on September 9th. This video will be more of a intro into my fandom and my plans going forward as pertains to my NFL related content. First off, I would classify myself as a casual of the NFL. Never personally played the sport. I'm not an analyst. I don't know everything about all 32 clubs. I cannot tell you specific differences between certain play calls, formations, techniques, routes, and any other jargon that's used amongst the NFL community or just football in general. But I do follow the sport close enough to I can kind of give you a good estimate on how each team is doing as of the current moment. I can follow for the most part where most star players go and give you a general vibe on each team. As far as my fandom for the NFL is concerned, it lies with the Buffalo Bills. I was born in 1994 after the 4-year run where they got no championship. I was born in October of 94, so that was literally the start of the 94-95 season where that was the end of their 4-year run. So before Josh Allen hit the scene, all I knew was mediocre or bad Bills teams during the 17-year playoff drought. I watched Josh Allen when he was sort of booed when he got picked originally. Some people wanted Josh Rosen, and we all know how that turned out. He went from being booed off the stage and to a bona fide star, pretty much every year dragging the Bills as an average to below average roster to the playoffs for about 8 years. He's statistically one of the best quarterbacks to do it. If you look at his stats compared to some of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks about 8 years into their career, Allen is either past them or he is one of them. So as far as statistics are concerned, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. But even with that, I mean, I kind of have to admit that there's a chance that Josh Allen may very well go the route of Dan Marino and just never get a ring. He might be the best quarterback ever, never get a ring. It kind of sucks. He has to be in the same universe where Patrick Mahomes is considered one of the GOATs right now. Anyway, back to my basics. My basis as a fan of why I'm a Bills fan. So I grew up in north of Delaware, not Delaware, Ohio, the state of Delaware. You know, the first state on the American flag because it was the first state to ratify the Constitution, the small state with no sales tax, the home of the Blue Hens. Are you familiar with them? The state where Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco did his collegiate career. He won Super Bowl with the Ravens. The state where a bat to the bone, George Thorogood is from. Specifically Wilmington, Delaware, aka Murder Town, USA, because it has one, if not the highest murder rate per capita, where I was living just outside of that wretched city for most of my life, like 15 to 20 minutes away. Also, one of the highest cancer rates in the US. I get it, nobody cares. As you should not care, Delaware is a bad state. Stay away. Except for Christmas shopping. Go for Christmas shopping for big ticket items, no sales tax. People carpool and even bus pool to the Christiana Mall just for Christmas shopping from New York, which is maybe an hour, roughly 2 hours away, depending on how fast you're going. Anyway, sorry I got off track there. Seriously, it's a terrible state. Don't go. It's a terrible state to live in. Don't go there. Unless you like history, there's really nothing there in Delaware. It's pretty boring. Anyway, I say that because you would think that I'm a Bills fan, but I live in Delaware. I would have been an Eagles fan, Philadelphia is just off like 45 minutes away from where I live. A Ravens fan. I'm literally, again, about 45 minutes from Baltimore. Commanders. Again, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Washington, D.C. is like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Or it could even be a Jets or Giants fan because, yes, they're both New York teams, but they actually play over the border in New Jersey. I always thought that was weird, right? I mean, the Bills are technically the only New York team because they actually play in New York State. But no, Bills fan, a team that plays hours away from my birth state, all the way near the Canadian border, northwest of New York State, in the city of Buffalo. How do you ask? Well, I had a small discussion with my dad to kind of help explain why I became a Bills fan. And the very first video I'm doing is kind of like my introduction into why I'm doing the NFL content, kind of like back my reasoning up for doing it. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm kind of explaining why I'm a Bills fan, even though I live all the way in Delaware. And obviously it was because of you, but I didn't know the exact story as far as like why you're a Bills fan, because obviously I knew you were you were born in Western New York, but I don't know the extent of why you follow them, how long you lived there, so forth.
Oh, well, that's born in North Tonawanda, right? So it's a city next to Niagara Falls, which is next to Grand Island, which is next to Buffalo. So it's a team in that area.
Yeah.
There's no other team in that area. That's for the NFL. That's the closest team.
Well, yeah.
So that's,
to my knowledge,
all the TV stations there and all the radio, all the Buffalo Bills stuff, because the Buffalo's not that far from there.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's from North Tonawanda. Right, North Tonawanda is right on the border of well, let me see. I'm trying to think. Because I know Niagara Falls is Canada. The corner was Canada. Is Buffalo's south, so you have to head south. So yeah, North Tonawanda. Oh no, gosh, it's a long time been there. Yeah, North Tonawanda is a little north from where the bridge is. You have to come down a little bit from the bridge, and when you go over the bridge, it takes you to Grand Island. And you go through Grand Island. Grand Island's not that big. You go through Grand Island, and then there's another bridge that goes there from there to Buffalo, and that's how you get to Buffalo. So it's like Niagara Falls. Bridge connects Niagara Falls to Grand Island, because Grand Island is an island, right?
Yeah.
And then you go through the island, and then there's another bridge on the other side of Grand Island that takes you to Buffalo.
Okay. Well,
So,
like we think 30-minute drive.
I was there. I became a real diehard football fan when I was probably like 11 or 12. That's when I really started looking into football. Before that, I was a big hockey fan, dude. I was a Buffalo Sabres fan, big time. I loved hockey. But then once I started to catch on to football, and that's when I became a Bills fan. And I was Bills fan for two years. Well, we're there, and then we moved to Grand Island for a little while. Still a Bills fan, and then moved back to Niagara Falls again for about a year or two. So I was 15 when I left. When I left Delaware. I was 14. I'm sorry, I was 14 when I left Niagara Falls to go to Grand Island. To go to California. I lived in California with my great uncle, and we lived there for about a year. We came back to Niagara Falls, but there was no work there. My parents couldn't find any work, so they came to Delaware. That's why I've been in Delaware since I was 15.
Okay.
But I grew up. Everything I grew up with Buffalo Sabres. Most of the time, Buffalo Sabres. I was playing hockey, like I said. But I still watched the Bills. I didn't take the football like I did. I took the football less than I took this. Like I said, hockey is my sport back then. I'd watch football games. I remember all the old games, all the players from back when I was a little kid. I remember them all. I remember watching it on TV, but my dad watched it on TV, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. I knew the names, and I wasn't into football that much. I knew the sport, I understood it, but I just never really. And then I got serious about it by 11 or 12 years old. I started getting really serious about it.
Okay. Because I always knew you were from New York. You told me that, obviously, but I didn't know how long you lived there. I didn't know if it was like a reasonable amount of time for you to live there and actually be a Bills fan.
Well, I was there 15 years, so
that's very reasonable.
Enough. And it's my childhood. So I grew up with my childhood as a Bills fan, and I just always was a Bills fan. This is it. That's where I'm from.
Because if you watch my video, I explained I was born and raised in Delaware. You think I would be an Eagles fan, a Ravens fan, a Reds Commanders fan, even a Giants or Jets fan because they play in New Jersey.
Yeah, I know. Buffalo's the only true New York team, bro.
Yeah.
The only one to actually play in the state of New York.
Yeah. So that's all I really want to just that one little snippet for backup why I'm a Bills fan, because I got it from you, but
yep.
I want to know.
I got it from my dad too, but I lived there. I wasn't like I didn't live there. We lived there.
Well, after that explanation, I hope it helps. So, not sure how qualified all that made me sound to actually talk about all 32 teams, but at least I have your attention. Or at least I hope I do. Subscribe, please. So, what am I going to do? Well, being I have some knowledge of all 32 teams, how all 32 teams are doing, I plan on making 32 separate videos going over a short synopsis of each team and predicting the record for the upcoming season. Really going every single week before the season starts for each team, and whether yes or no they'll win each game, prior to the NFL season starting. And then I will save those predictions for the end of the season to compare it to my actual picks in the actual regular season when I'm making the picks live in the season. Because obviously we know the season changes, teams get bad, teams get good. So sometimes it's not all the same. It's definitely not all the same on paper before you go into from before the season to after the season. So if I get enough traction, so when the actual season begins, I plan on doing a video every week of my picks for every single game for each week. And if I get enough traction, I may do a weekly tier list for all 32 teams, kind of like not a power rankings, but tier lists. I think it's a little easier to do a tier list than trying to make all 32 teams 1 of 32. So, well, we shall see how that works out. Those are my plans for the upcoming season. I hope you liked this video and are looking forward to my other content. Keep in mind, my channel is mainly a gaming channel, so I do have that kind of content you look forward to still coming from me. Sorry, I do not play Madden. Yes, I like football, but I don't play Madden. I haven't played Madden since I think Brett Favre was on the cover back in 13, I think. But regardless, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and stay square.